Hey, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel, and I am Alexis, and you can call me Alexis if you want, although you can call me Alex or Lex, I do not mind. I'm just gonna read out a bit of content stuff for you guys to know about my sexuality, because I have been bisexual since I was 5. That changed when I became transgender in 2017. So now I am demisexual, and I'm just going to read a bit of it to you guys, and what it means, and what it does, and what signs that there are for being demisexual. And I'm just gonna tell you now on my Xbox, because I would use my phone, but I'm lazy. So demisexuality is a sexual orientation where people only experience sexual attraction to folks that they have close emotional connections with. Demisexual people only experience sexual attraction after an emotional bond has formed. The prefix demi, or half, or partly, while asexual people experience little to no sexual attraction, and allosexual people do experience sexual attraction. Demisexuality implies a sort of middle ground. According to Wired article from 2015, the earliest recording of the term demisexuality dates back to 2006, where a user coined the term on AVEN, which is Asexual Visibility and Education Network Forum. This isn't to say that demisexuality is something new. Although the term has only been around since 2006, it's likely that some people have always had this experience. What kind of bond are you talking about? Love? This emotional bond isn't always love or romance, although it can be. For some demisexual people, it may be friendship, including platonic friendship. They may not necessarily love the person, or whether romantically or platonically, at all. Why does sexuality need a label? Your orientation describes who you are attracted to. Demisexual people experience attraction to a select group of people. You might wonder, but don't many of us wait to feel an emotional connection to someone before having sex with them? Yes, many people do choose to only have sex with people that they have a bond with, whether it's marriage, a committed romantic relationship, or a happy and trusting friendship. The difference is that demisexuality isn't about having sex. It's about the ability to feel sexual attraction to specific people. You can be sexually attracted to someone without having sex with them, and you can have sex with someone without actually feeling attracted to them. Demisexual people aren't simply people who decide to date someone for a long time before having sex with them. It isn't about deciding to have sex, but rather feeling sexually attracted to someone. That said, some demisexual people might choose to wait a while before having sex with a romantic partner, but this is independent of their sexual orientation. What other names for demisexuality? At the moment, there are no widely used terms that mean the same thing as demisexuality. However, demisexuality is often associated with the following terms. Asexuality which is where you experience little to no sexual attraction. Grey sexuality, which is where you rarely experience sexual attraction or experience it at a low level. Semisexuality is similar to grey sexuality, where you're not entirely asexual but not entirely allosexual. Does an emotional bond guarantee that sexual attraction will develop? Nope. To use an example, heterosexual men are sexually attracted to women, but they're not necessarily attracted to every woman they meet. Similarly, demisexuality doesn't mean that a demisexual person is attracted to everyone that they have a deep emotional bond with. Does this orientation fit under the asexual umbrella? This question is cause for a lot of debate in the asexual, grey sexual, and demisexual communities, as an asexual person experiences little to no sexual attraction. Sexual attraction is about finding someone sexually appealing and wanting to have sex with them. The opposite of asexual is sexual, also referred to as allosexual. Grey sexuality is considered to the midpoint between asexuality and allosexuality. Grey sexual people rarely experience sexual attraction at all. They experience it with a low intensity. Some people argue that demisexuality doesn't fit under the asexual umbrella because it only refers to the circumstances which you feel sexual attraction. It doesn't necessarily comment on how often or intensely you experience sexual attraction. Somebody who tends to feel intense sexual attraction toward nearly all of their closest friends and partners, but not toward acquaintances or strangers, might feel that they are demisexual but not asexual at all. Someone who is only sexually attracted to one or two close friends or partners, but not often and not intensely, might identify strongly with grey sexuality or asexuality. On the other hand, people argue that demisexuality falls under the asexual banner. This is because demisexuality describes a situation where you only experience sexual attraction in limited circumstances. At the end of the day, it doesn't particularly matter what anyone else thinks about where this orientation falls on the asexual allosexual spectrum. You're allowed to identify however you'd like, and you're welcome to choose multiple labels to describe your sexual and romantic orientation. Can you apply a gender orientation to this? Most sexual orientation labels, such as homosexual, bisexual, or pansexual, refers to the genders of the people we're attracted to. Demisexual is different because it refers to the nature of our relationship to the people we're attracted to. It's okay to want to use a description that refers to gender orientation too. So, yes, you can be demisexual and also homosexual, bisexual, pansexual, heterosexual, and so on. Whatever best describes your individual orientation. What does being demisexual look like in practice? One moment. Being demisexual looks different to different people. If you're demisexual, you might relate to the following feelings or scenarios. I seldom feel sexually attracted to people I see on the street, strangers or acquaintances. I have felt sexually attracted to someone I was close to, such as a friend or romantic partner. My emotional connection with someone affects whether I feel sexually attracted to them. I'm not aroused or interested in the thought of having sex with someone I don't know well, even they are aesthetically beautiful and have a pleasant personality. That said, all demisexuals are different, and you might be demisexual if you don't relate to the view above. How is this different from being grey sexual? Demisexual people only experience sexual attraction to after a close emotional bond has formed. This is different from seldom experiencing sexual attraction. Demisexual people may experience sexual attraction often and intensely, but only with people they're close to. Similarly, grey sexual people might find when they do experience sexual attraction, it isn't necessarily with people they have a close emotional bond with. Is it possible to be both at the same time or fluctuate between the two? Yes, you can simultaneously identify with being demisexual and grey sexual, or demisexual or asexual. It's also totally okay to fluctuate between orientations. What about elsewhere on the spectrum? Can you move between periods of sexuality and asexuality? Yes, as mentioned before, demisexual people might identify with being asexual, grey sexual, or allosexual. Sexuality and orientation are fluid. You might find your capacity for sexual attraction shifts over time. For example, you might go from being allosexual to being grey sexual to being asexual. Interestingly, the 2015 asexual census found that 80% of its respondents identified as another orientation before they identified as asexual, which demonstrates how fluid sexuality can be. However, this doesn't mean that they aren't necessarily identified with before, and it doesn't mean they're not asexual too, and they're not asexual now. Fluid orientations aren't any less valid than non-fluid ones. Can demisexuals experience other forms of attraction? Yes, demisexual people can experience other forms of attraction. This may include romantic attraction, desiring a romantic relationship with someone, aesthetic attraction, being attracted to someone based on how they look, sensual or physical attraction, which is wanting to touch, hold, or cuddle someone, platonic attraction, wanting to be friends with someone, or an emotional attraction, wanting an emotional connection with someone. What does being demisexual mean for partnered relationships? Demisexual people might or might not desire romantic relationships and partnerships. In relationships, demisexual people might or might not choose to have sex. To some demisexual people, sex might not be important in relationships. To others, it is important. Some demisexual people might feel that their bond with their partner isn't necessarily close enough for them to feel sexually attracted to their partner. Some might choose to wait until they feel close enough to their partner, and some might opt out altogether. Some might have sex with their partner without feeling sexually attracted to their partner. Every demisexual person is different. Is it okay not to want a relationship at all? Yes, many people, including demisexual people, don't want relationships, and that's totally okay. Remember that having an emotional bond with someone isn't the same as having or wanting a romantic relationship with them. So a demisexual person might have an emotional bond with someone, feel sexually attracted to them, but necessarily want a romantic relationship with that person. Oh no. Oh dear. I've got to go. I'm so sorry.